53% of boomers, over 53% of boomers cannot afford to retire.
She's well past the age of retirement and she's still working.
Hi everyone, it's Penny here again. I'll never forget the moment I realized we didn't have enough money to retire.
Nurses are not eligible to retire until we're 67 years old. We have to work until we're 67 in order to receive full benefits.
More than half of the people who are retired right now do not have enough money to be retired.
You worked 40 years and can't even afford a damn vacation?
Did y'all know that 46% of older adults living in America experience homelessness?
Boomers are getting hit from both sides. They can't afford to retire, and now companies are laying them off before they're ready. Decades of experience suddenly doesn't matter, and thousands of older workers are being pushed out with no backup plan. Today, we're breaking down why this is happening, how it's affecting families across America, and what it really means for the future of work.
A walk with Rosie and Logan is a rare break for Marianne O'Connor. Then she's back on her laptop, juggling 2 jobs, sometimes up to 11 hours a day.
What did you think you'd be doing at 66?
Oh, I would hope to be retired.
And what are you doing at 66?
I'm working my butt off.
This is certainly not part of Larry Gessick's retirement plan. The 77-year-old electrician by trade leaves at 5:30 a.m. and heads for his part-time job unloading trailers at a local supermarket in St. Petersburg, Florida, for $14.75 an hour. His wife, Joyce, 66, prepares for her workday, making $14 an hour as a full-time legal administrator.
It's not really a retirement.
What is it?
It's working every day.
The Gessicks came out of retirement not because they wanted to, but because they had to, and are among the 11 million Americans, 1 in 5 over 65, who are still working.
53% of boomers, over 53% of boomers cannot afford to retire. And that's including those who are going to turn 65 between 2024 and 2030. And more of them are women. And that's partially because many women gave up a career to stay home and raise children. Myself, I'm one of them. I'm 74 years old, still working full time. I have not had high paying jobs. I've been in the hospitality business and loved it, but you don't get paid a whole lot. And my Social Security is not going to cut it. Okay, so that's why I'm still working full time at 74 years old.
She's well past the age of retirement and she's still working.
Di, this is what you should be doing.
Yes.
Sitting outside having a cup of tea,
yes.
Enjoying your retirement.
But there's no stopping Di.
Hello, girls. Hi, Di.
Today is Di's first day back on the job after shoulder surgery kept her on the sidelines for 6 weeks. She's missed it, and they've missed her.
Welcome back, Di. Thank you. So good to have you back.
But she's also missed her income.
Is there lots of work?
And that's what keeps her coming back to her computer as she edges closer to her 80th birthday.
Why haven't you retired yet, Di?
Because I can't afford to. I mean, my wages are $1,100 a fortnight. That's what I take home. I get 700 odd part pension from Centrelink, but my rent's that wipes out my rent. So I'm really living on the 1,100.
After paying for health insurance, car insurance, groceries and power bills, there's not much left.
I always say that I'd like to work because I want to, not because I have to.
Boomers are facing a reality they never expected. After working for decades, doing everything the right way, and planning for a comfortable retirement, suddenly they can't afford to retire at all. The cost of living is through the roof. Healthcare is more expensive than ever, and savings that once seemed enough don't even cover the basics anymore. But what makes it worse? Companies are quietly laying them off before they reach retirement age. People with 20, 30, even 40 years of experience are being replaced with cheaper workers, leaving them scrambling at the very moment they thought life would finally slow down. It's heartbreaking, it's frustrating, and it's happening every single day. So let's break down why older workers are getting pushed out, what this means for their future, and what it says about the economy we're all trying to survive in.
You worked 40 years and can't even afford a damn vacation? You're not alone. I get it. I'm right there with you. I worked my whole life. I'm Pam, retired mom and grandma, and I thought I was set for my retirement. I had plans to travel, but then insurance costs doubled, unexpected expenses hit, and I'm freaking stressed out. You work your whole life, give your life to the job, and now you're stuck at home, afraid to spend, watching cruise commercials from your recliner, seeing other people's beach vacation, thinking, wow, that must be nice. This isn't freedom. This is survival.
So you're retired now, and now you think you're going to be able to get out and do the things you've always wanted to do that you couldn't do because you worked 9 to 5, right? You only got 1 week out of the year to go on vacation. But you're retired and you don't have any money to go anywhere because Social Security's not going to pay you enough. So what are you going to do about that?
Nurses are not eligible to retire until we're 67 years old. We have to work until we're 67 in order to receive full benefits. But they've blessed us with the opportunity for increased benefits if we work till age 70. Most of our patients are gone by age 70. The military, they get to retire after 20 years of service. The police, they get to retire after 20 years of service. Firefighters, they get to retire after 25 years of service. And teachers, they get to retire after 30 years of service. Of just those 4 professions that I've mentioned, all 4 of them have some form of protection. Who's saving ours? Nobody is saving our lives. They are taking our lives from us. We're not even going to be alive to retire. Or if we do, we're all going to have hip. Anyway, I was going to try to make, something humorous at the end of this video, but I'm too pissed to come up with something humorous about these.
I know these people don't want to be there. They're walking in with bad knees, back bent over. They can barely make it into the building. Do y'all know these people are chained to their jobs because they cannot retire, because they won't have health care? Yes, they have sacrificed and dedicated 30 years of service, but because they're too young to receive Medicare, they are still enslaved to their job. One of the greatest countries in the world has not figured out how to expand health care for everyone. Now your grandma and your granddad is still working when they should be at home enjoying the fruit of their labor.
More than half of the people who are retired right now do not have enough money to be retired.
Who's to blame for all of this?
I blame policymakers who experimented with our retirement system 40 years ago, and they are not saying the experiment failed.
That experiment is what we know today as the 401k, named after part of a 1978 law that offered companies an alternative to the traditional pension plan.
The thought was that Americans just need a little bit of financial literacy, and they can just save on their own.
Man, this is the part nobody likes to talk about because it exposes how messed up the whole system really is. More than half of the people who are retired right now literally do not have enough money to be retired. And somehow we still act like it's their fault. But you're right. The real blame goes to the policymakers who treated our retirement system like a science project 40 years ago. They sold everyone this dream that the 401k would replace pensions. That if we just learned financial literacy, we could magically save our way to a comfortable retirement. But let's be honest, that experiment failed. Pensions gave people guaranteed income. The 401k gave people a gamble. And now an entire generation is paying the price for a bet they never agreed to make.
had to buy shampoo today, and I got it from the Dollar Tree. I don't know. I used to buy Olaplex, all the good stuff for a very long time. For at least 7 years, I've been using nothing but Olaplex. For the big one is $80. I'm down to like $3.99 shampoo, from $80 shampoo to $3.99. Toothpaste, I use baking soda, and it works really good. It gets my teeth white. I use coconut oil and do coconut oil pulling. It's okay. I'm using coconut oil. You can get it from the dollar store. I hate to say it. I use coconut oil as my moisturizer. Literally, I am putting all the makeup I've ever had. I save every single container, and I use a paintbrush. I put a paintbrush down into the container to get every last little drop out of it. It's crazy. There's no way when I start working again that I'm going to just become frivolous. I'm not gonna just start getting my hair done again. I'm not gonna get my nails done ever again. It's over with. I have 11 years worth of Lululemon stockpiled. I'll be wearing that even though it doesn't fit to the day I die. I am not going to be buying any more clothes. I haven't bought clothes. I bought this from Target for $5, and I'm wearing my Lululemons that are $160 that I got 10 years ago. Still wearing them. My shoe collection on the wall, all Brooks shoes. I buy new insoles for them, and I just swap them out from other pairs of shoes, really. I don't buy even new ones anymore. You got to figure out ways to cut down everything you've got going on, and then start building your empire back up again and figure it out.
Yeah, we all need to be concerned, and you all need to be concerned as younger Americans. It is very easy to have a good job and end up in my predicament at my age, which is 59, where you don't have any savings to retire, and it's a struggle to pay bills, and considering that a bag of chips is as much as an hour minimum wage pay is pretty messed up. But anyway, we all have to, think about solutions, and solutions aren't billionaires running our government, for sure.
Man, this is exactly the reality people don't want to hear, but it's the truth. You can work your whole life, have a good job, do everything people tell you to do, and still end up at 59 with no real savings, barely keeping up with bills. And that's not personal failure. That's the system failing you. When a bag of chips costs the same as an hour of minimum wage work, you know something is seriously broken. People aren't struggling because they're lazy or irresponsible. They're struggling because the math of this economy just doesn't add up anymore. And you're right. The solution sure isn't billionaires running the government and writing rules that benefit themselves. Younger Americans absolutely need to pay attention, because the same trap waiting for older workers right now is the one this generation is walking straight into.
Heard this girl's video about, she said, how if you're single and all alone, and how are you staying afloat financially? I'm underwater right now, for sure. Just say it. I have cut my bills down. I have canceled my cable. I have a change jar for real backup with like $300 in quarters in my change bucket for emergency eating. We don't turn on the heater, the air conditioner. We turn all the lights off. Literally, I have menopause, and I'm going to need that AC this summer, man. I'm telling you, it's St. Louis. It gets hot down here. But my food, I got my food whittled down to like barely nothing. I said, hey, it's okay to be anorexic. It's all right. I'm overweight by 45 pounds. It's all good. So, yeah, you make things happen. Every boomer parent that, if you did have one in your life that's not helping you, they go, you'll figure it out. You're damn right you'll figure it out. You're going to freak out. You're going to start selling your I'm going to start hitting up people for jobs, and during the interview you're going to be begging, but you already have a full-time job. I don't actually have a job, and I don't know how I'm making it happen, so this is how it's going to be, and it might not get easier. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I'm almost 46, and the corporate world, that's hard to be in there after 40. Restaurants, for sure, over 40. I'm 46 trying to get a waitress job. Nobody wants a piece of this, all right? Maybe a casino. I don't want to do anything. You get on such a high horse as you get older. You don't want to live all Okay, you don't want to work at Kmart. You want to work at Nordstrom's, all right? If anything. But these places that want me to work like 2 days a week, low man on the totem pole, it's never going to pay my bills. I have to get every single thing down to almost nothing. I have to live almost nothing. Doing my own hair. I got my sister to cut my hair. Dye it with the box dye. All right. Even homeless people can scrounge up a suit to wear. Okay. I've seen it. You'll quit drinking if you drink. You'll quit smoking if you smoke. You can't afford those things. Cigarettes, alcohol, going on frivolous trips to Home Depot to go buy plants for the front of your house, that's out. You're going to start figuring out, like, maybe be a dog walker. There's not a lot. There's a lot of choices, but not good ones, You could get hurt in an older age being a dog walker, being a FedEx delivery person. You ever see those people jump out of the cars and run with a package and outrun a dog and hop over a fence? I'm not doing that. Hell no, I'm going to bust my ass. Working at Costco, there's a lot of older people that work at Costco, like not the little kids. You gotta move a lot of over there. You could get hurt. I pull muscles on a regular basis. I went out job hunting today and I came home covered in bruises. I don't know how. Okay. You got to keep that fake smile on and keep schmoozing. You got to keep up with the times. Then you got to get a laptop, which maybe you'll probably already have one, but I know I don't because I've been a waitress my whole life. I haven't needed a laptop or a computer or anything. All right. It'd be nice to have one, but I don't have one. Sort of day trading, some sort of like consultant, some sort of, working at home off the computer while you're trying to be a part-time waitress. That's all I could hope for. Being a dog walker, it's not out of the question, but it's also like I don't go running anymore because I get hurt every time I leave the house. All right. So we're going to figure out what the we're going to do in our Gen X retirement age. People like the Golden Girls, they filmed Golden Girls when they were our age. Okay. Like we look physically better than them. All right. But it doesn't mean that we're superheroes or anything. Those Golden Girls that are retiring at 45, all three living in one house, that's exactly what needs to happen.
At the end of the day, this whole situation should be a wake-up call for every single one of us. Older Americans didn't just suddenly fail at retirement. They didn't magically forget to save. They didn't get lazy, and they didn't become irresponsible overnight. What actually happened is the economy changed faster than anyone could keep up with. Prices exploded, wages stagnated, pensions disappeared, and the retirement experiment that replaced them, the 401k system, never delivered on its promises. And now, millions of people who work their entire lives are being pushed into a future they weren't prepared for. Not because they didn't try, but because the system wasn't built to protect them. Companies are laying off older workers like their decades of experience have no value. Politicians are blaming financial literacy while ignoring the policies that created this mess. And everyday people are left to try to stretch a retirement plan that was never meant to carry them this far. But here's the part younger Americans need to understand. This isn't just their problem. This is your future, too. If nothing changes, the same struggles hitting older workers right now. The layoffs, the rising costs, the lack of savings, the fear of outliving your money. They're coming for the next generation even harder. Because everything is more expensive, job security is weaker, and the safety nets are thinner. So maybe the question isn't why didn't they save more? Maybe the real question is, why do we build an economy where decades of hard work still aren't enough?